Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're tearing down the walls, pun intended, on a topic that literally haunts almost every homeowner, the dreaded renovation budget blowout. You start with this beautiful dream concept and a totally reasonable estimate, but somewhere between demo day and that final coat of paint, the whole project just goes completely off the rails. Why does this happen? And more importantly, how can you protect yourself? Well, we are going to expose the true hidden costs of modern renovations, dissect the 2026 market conditions that are driving them, and give you a foolproof playbook to lock down your scope. Get ready, because we're going to make sure you are firmly in the driver's seat before a single hammer swings.
Let's dive right in with a feeling we all universally hate. You know when you're just cruising online, minding your own business, and bam, you hit a hard stop. Attention required. Sorry, you have been blocked. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, this is the absolute perfect metaphor for the jarring moment your dream renovation hits a sudden, massive, and very expensive wall. You were cruising along nicely, and then suddenly progress just stops dead in its tracks, and you're left scrambling to figure out what went wrong.
And when that real-life renovation roadblock hits, it comes with a staggering price tag. Right now, the national median budget overrun on major home renovation projects is sitting between 15 and 25%. Just think about that for a second. Even if you mapped out a comprehensive budget, statistically speaking, you're likely to overshoot it by up to a quarter. It is the financial equivalent of getting entirely blocked from completing your own project. It turns what should be an amazing, exciting transformation into a deeply stressful ordeal.
So, what actually triggers this massive block? On a website, the error usually tells you it's some sort of malformed data messing up the system. But in the world of home remodeling, the trigger is actually 4 incredibly dangerous words. While you're at it. Yep. When you look at your contractor and casually say, hey, while you're at it, can we just move this wall? Or while you're at it, let's swap out the trim. You are introducing malformed data right into your project's ecosystem. That phrase triggers massive scope creep. Honestly, it is the single most expensive phrase in any home renovation. Before we figure out how to stop that nasty scope creep, we really need to understand the economic reality contractors are operating in today. For that, we turn to the NAHB/Westlake Royal Remodeling Market Index, or the RMI. It's a quarterly survey of remodelers that gives us vital, on-the-ground insight into market conditions. And right now, it shows us that contractor backlogs are remaining incredibly long. That high demand means pricing is staying remarkably firm out there.
What's super interesting here is how this index is actually calculated. It's an average of 2 main things: the current conditions index, which rates the size of projects happening now, and the future indicators index, which looks at leads and backlogs. By measuring these specific factors, the data proves something crucial. It's broader market forces like high demand, steady leads, and massive backlogs that are squeezing your budget. It's a much-needed reality check. Your budget issues aren't always the result of greedy contractors. Often they're just dictated by strict, real-world economic conditions.
Let's bring this down to earth with some hard 2026 data so we know exactly what's at stake. According to the Cost versus Value report, $82,000 is the national median cost for a mid-range major kitchen remodel. And remember, that is just the median. That's the baseline before a single hidden cost, unforeseen issue, or while you're at it moment even enters the chat. And hey, if you're thinking about actually adding square footage, oh boy, the numbers jump dramatically. For a primary suite addition in most major metros, you're looking at a baseline cost that can easily exceed $175,000. These figures really emphasize that even before things go wrong, we're talking about massive, life-altering financial investments. The stakes for getting the planning phase right are astronomically high.
Here is the crucial takeaway. Those hidden costs actually don't usually come from some shady contractor padding the bill. No, they almost always stem from 3 specific planning failures on our end: indecision, assumption, and optimism. Indecision is waiting until the painter is literally standing in your hallway to pick your exact Benjamin Moore paint colors. Assumption is just assuming your 1970s electrical panel can easily handle a modern high-tech kitchen load. And optimism? That's naively thinking you can peacefully live in your house without a functioning kitchen for 6 weeks straight. These 3 behaviors create a massive budget vacuum that instantly fills up with expensive rush orders, change fees, and endless delays.
To fight this, you absolutely need a contingency fund. But let's be crystal clear about what that actually means. A true contingency is for survival. It's for uncovering mold, finding rotted studs, or discovering ungrounded wiring hiding behind the drywall once demolition starts. A design choice, on the other hand, is deciding mid-project that you want to upgrade your standard Kohler faucet to a luxury waterworks faucet.
Your contingency fund is not an upgrade slush fund. If you drain it for luxury upgrades, you are going to have absolutely nothing left when you actually uncover termite damage.
So, how much should you actually stash away? The standard recommendation from the National Association of Home Builders is exactly 10 to 15% of your total project cost. However, if your home is over 30 years old, or you're dealing with a historic property, or making major structural changes, you really need to push that safety net up to 20%. That is your ultimate shield against the unknown. And it's not just what's hiding behind the drywall. You have to account for life outside the walls. These are the hidden logistical expenses that totally shock people. We're talking about permit fees, which can easily run thousands of dollars for a structural review. We're talking about short-term rental housing if the dust makes your home completely unlivable. We're talking about renting furniture storage units and the massive creeping cost of eating out for months because your kitchen is gutted. These logistical nightmares can quietly add another 5 to 10% to your total project outlay without you even realizing it.
Okay, let's look at the specific reality of renovating right now, because things have shifted quite a bit for 2026. First off, while HELOC and construction loan rates have stabilized, they're still much higher than they were pre-2022, making financing a massive line item all on its own. Second, if you want to snag those Inflation Reduction Act tax credits, you must plan early for very specific qualifying products, like certain high-efficiency Anderson windows or heat pumps. And third, most areas have now adopted the stricter 2024 International Residential Code updates, which mandate non-negotiable and often really expensive safety and insulation upgrades.
And that brings us to another massive 2026 headache: material lead times. We're dealing with a totally bifurcated supply chain right now. You can get basic materials like standard lumber or James Hardie siding relatively fast. But if you want the high-end stuff like custom European cabinetry or specialty tile, you're looking at lead times of 16 weeks or more. If you don't make those decisions and place those orders long before demo day, your whole project will stall out while you wait for a boat from Europe. All right, let's loop back to that awful security error from the beginning. See the text right there? What can I do to resolve this? That is exactly the mindset we need to adopt right now. How do we resolve this budget bloat? How do we unblock the renovation and take back control of the process? Well, the resolution comes down to 3 absolutely crucial questions you must ask during the planning phase.
Here is your ultimate playbook. You absolutely must ask every single contractor these 3 specific questions to turn their vague sales pitch into a lockdown construction plan. Question 1. What is explicitly not included in this bid? This forces them to reveal if things like finish materials or final painting are excluded. Question 2. What are the 3 most common unforeseen issues on a project like this? This tests their honesty and helps you predict hidden costs based on their actual experience. And question 3. How do you handle material allowances and selections? Because if they give you a lowball allowance, but that dream package you want from a supplier like Ferguson costs 3 times as much, you need to know that up front, not midway through the build.
Which brings us to our final and maybe most important question for you. Are your renovation plans built on assumptions, or are you truly ready to lock your scope? The only way to survive a renovation without losing your mind and your shirt is to eliminate ambiguity. Every product, every finish, down to the exact Schluter-Ditra uncoupling membrane setting under your specific porcelain tile needs to be finalized on paper. Make those hard decisions now when they're cheap and easy to change, rather than paying for rush orders and massive change fees later. Defend your contingency, lock your scope, and take total control of your project before a single hammer swings. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and hey, happy planning!